Good morning to you guys here. I should say good afternoon here on this Saturday here, May 17th, 2025. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. And if you guys have not watched my rage video, I would consider it, I guess, a rage video. It's more of trying to be an informative video in terms of like how to prepare for warnings, making sure we understand warnings, and just everything going on with our weather world. Make sure y'all go watch that. It's a 10-minute video. Like I said, take it as you're able to. It's meant to inform people on how to take warnings seriously, all of that stuff, and really just talk about what's going on with our weather world. So make sure y'all go watch that video. I didn't post that not to be an issue or anything, but just go watch that. Definitely informative in terms of what's going on with everything right now. I do want to start out by saying my thoughts and prayers go out tremendously to every single family and everybody that was impacted with yesterday's storms. It was brutal yesterday, guys. I was not able to get on and cover yesterday. We had tornadoes in our backyard yesterday. It was a very scary day here in Kentucky for sure. Just being on guard, my anxiety was through the roof. Rochelle's was, the kids were. Just weren't able to get on here yesterday. But the good news is you guys are going to have me today. You're going to have me tomorrow. You're going to have me on Monday. And you're going to have me on Tuesday, as we've got the next stretch. The next 4 days here are going to be a significant severe weather outbreak stretch. But there is a very, very high likelihood that we see a significant tornado outbreak both on Sunday and on Monday tomorrow across Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas on both days. And then we're going to see some of the same areas that just got impacted with storms yesterday see more significant severe weather on Tuesday. Kentucky, Tennessee, Illinois, Indiana, back into northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, and into northern Georgia on Tuesday. So we've got the next 4 days, guys. It's going to be a very rough ride. Please pay attention to the forecast. Share the video out. Let people know what's going on. This is here to give you guys information to get you guys ready to go. We've been very, very accurate in terms of predicting these forecasts and, staying along with what SPC says and what the National Weather Service does and just reiterating their information to you guys. But I will let you guys know we'll be full force in live coverage mode the next 4 days in a row to cover all 4 of these events. You guys will have me. We will be here, and we're going to get you guys through this. I will start out with saying right now, very, very nice day across the Ohio Valley here. We're going to get a break today in terms of severe storms, and just a nice day in general here. Get out there, enjoy the weather. If you're out recovering from these storms in the Ohio Valley, once again, just be mindful. More storms are on the way coming into next Tuesday here, even into tomorrow potentially as well. We could see some low and severe weather across the western Ohio Valley for this longevity of this trough that's going to be ejecting here. You guys can see our system that did move through. We've still got some severe weather up here into the northeast. We've got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings up there. A low end tornado risk, wind and hail threat for the northeast today. Tornado or a severe thunderstorm watch is already present up there this afternoon. Our main event's going to be back down here in Texas. We'll talk about that here in a second. You guys can see our next main system that's going to be coming in for tomorrow and for Monday. And this could, like I said, bring the threat for a significant tornado outbreak if certain things do go the way that they are potentially projected to. And we'll talk more in depth on that here again in just a second. What's causing the severe weather today specifically, this is what we call a transition day, when you got just a subtropical jet stream, a little impulse in our jet that's going to be moving across the southern plains today. This is going to be just enough to cause some significant severe weather in the form of large hail, damaging winds, and then a tornado threat. That large hail will be the biggest threat for today. So we're going to get you guys going here, talk about what's going to happen here. I will mention, like I said, a lot of severe weather to cover here, so pay attention to the details. Like I said, if you know any friends, any loved ones that are in these areas, please let them know in advance, because this is going to be a very significant next 4 day stretch. We'll start out with today here. We do have a small little marginal risk back up here into portions of western Wyoming here, back up here just east outside of Nevada here, Salt Lake City, Utah, getting into that marginal risk. This is going to be for some wind and for some hail. Not expecting anything too crazy up there. We have the remnants of this system that came through yesterday, bringing severe weather up here into the northeast. Slight risk and marginal risk for wind and for hail, and a conditional tornado risk up there. Just be mindful if you're up and about, if you get warnings, know where to go if you get a tornado warning. A safe place, a bathroom, a closet. If you have a storm shelter, go to that storm shelter. I don't want to see anybody coming in a live stream and seeing in videos that, we're outside watching the tornado. You need to be getting to your safe places and not putting your life on the line when you get these warnings, guys. When the National Weather Service issues these warnings, you need to take them seriously. Sometimes they can be delayed. Sometimes they can be hopefully accurate on time. Like I said, my previous video kind of talks about all of that. Make sure y'all go watch that. But we are here on stream to give you guys advanced warning times, to get you guys in your safe places before warnings get issued. That is our goal here. And so when we tell you guys, hey, a storm's coming your way, potentially could be tornadic, potentially be producing some significant large hail, some damaging winds, take that warning seriously. Get to your safe place. That's our job, is to get you guys to your safe places in advance. So just a heads up on that there. We're going to be mainly focused on the southern plains today. We do have a marginal risk that extends back down here from the plains into the southeast. This is going to be for a wind and a hail threat for this low end marginal risk across the southeast for today. Our main event's going to be a slight risk and enhanced risk here. Dallas, Fort Worth, you're under the gun today. Arlington, Plano, Garland, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Wichita, Kansas, Shreveport, Louisiana, Little Rock, Arkansas, some of the bigger cities there under the gun today. And we are going to have an interesting little setup. The main threat today is going to be large hail. We do have a huge hatched hail risk here that extends from southern Kansas through Oklahoma City back down into Texas and western Arkansas and Louisiana for hail. This hail could exceed 3.5 inches in diameter, guys. So make sure your cars are covered up. Make sure your belongings are brought inside. This could be a pretty damaging day in terms of large hail. The next thing on the list is going to be that wind threat. We do have a small hatched wind threat here could exceed 75 miles per hour for a Boeing complex that tries to develop later on this evening along the Red River. So Wichita Falls, Dallas, Fort Worth area, just in that or outside of that there, going into western Arkansas, winds exceeding 75 possible with that. Outside of that hatched region, 30, 15, and 5% for all modes of 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, with that's within the 25-mile radius of a given point. And then we do have a tornado risk, a small 2% tornado risk back up here into the northeast, and now a 5% tornado risk that has been added up here into the Oklahoma City metro area. So Oklahoma City, you have a 5% tornado risk today. Norman, you're in that. Woodward, Oklahoma, you're in that. Tulsa, you're in the 2. This extends down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. A 5% tornado risk on the table today. So if you were in these cities today, be mindful. We saw St. Louis get hit with a tornado yesterday. Downtown St. Louis. We saw major cities yesterday take hits from these tornadoes. You are not immune because you live in a major city population area. It does not mean you're not going to get a tornado in a tornado risk zone. We literally watched. Go back and look up social media, guys, yesterday, and look at the tornado that went through downtown St. Louis yesterday. It caused very, very destructive damage across the city there. So go back and watch that. There were, I believe, a couple fatalities also reported with that as well. I'll get more reports on that. We are also looking at right now, the death total in Kentucky right now is looking at 24 fatalities in that Somerset and London, Kentucky tornado that we saw as of right now for yesterday. That number is still climbing. 31 confirmed tornadoes compare overall the whole state of Missouri and Kentucky as of right now. So like I said, just significant utter destruction. We're going to continue to see more of that over the next couple of days. I'll get to the timing on this here in just a minute in terms of that tornado risk. I'm going to talk about the rest of these risk zones here. Now, tomorrow and Monday, guys, have very, very high potential, just like yesterday. Very, very high potential, meaning we could see that high ceiling be met, or we could see something in the middle, or we could see something very, very little. The National Weather Service has already issued, SPC has already issued an enhanced risk here for southern and central and northern Kansas back into northern Oklahoma. I would not be shocked to see this enhanced risk get extended down in further outlooks here of confidence increases in storm coverage. That's what this is about, is these outlooks get the higher the risk zone, the better confidence there is in there being severe, significant storms of whatever category it's in. I also would not be shocked to see a level 4 moderate risk zone introduced at some point. It could happen, could be for wind, could be for hail, could be for tornadoes. That is still a little bit uncertain right now, but the Storm Prediction Center has mentioned future outlook upgrades could be on the table for tomorrow, for Sunday. So if you're in these risk zones tomorrow, you need to be mindful. Enhanced risk in Kansas, slight risk outside of that from much of the Central Plains, and a marginal risk that extends all the way out to the southeast corridor along the east coast. Now, we do have a 10% hatched tornado risk here. So the threat for strong EF2 plus tornadoes, once again, northern Oklahoma, Wichita, Kansas, central Kansas, southern Kansas here, under the gun for strong tornadoes. A huge 5% tornado risk that extends for most of Missouri. Kansas City are in that. This goes all the way out to Springfield, Missouri, back down into Oklahoma City, Norman, Fort Sill, Wichita Falls, and down towards northern portions of Texas here. Southern Nebraska as well, eastern Wyoming, and portions of southwestern extreme portions of Iowa in that tornado risk for tomorrow. And then we have a wind threat tomorrow, 15 and 5% across the board, 60 to 70 mile per hour winds possible, as well as a huge hail threat tomorrow, significantly large hail, 30 and 15 hatch there, meaning hail could exceed, once again, 3 inches in diameter in that hatched risk. And outside of that, we could see also hail exceeding 1 to 2 inches in diameter outside that there in the slight and marginal risk zone. Now, I do mention as well, going into Monday looks to be the bigger day in terms of right now. Both days, Sunday and Monday, are going to be significant, but Monday has everybody's eyes paying attention to, and I'll talk about why here in just a second. Another enhanced risk, once again, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Wichita, Kansas City, Missouri, western and central Missouri. A lot of these areas just got hit yesterday in Missouri, going into western Illinois for severe weather, and we're going to see it again. Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas, you guys have got to be paying attention tomorrow to these alerts if storms do in fact fire off and do what is forecasted here. We do have probabilities not issued quite yet here, but otherwise a hatched risk zone. There will be strong tornadoes, potentially some intense tornadoes, extremely large hail, and damaging winds all possible here in that hatched region there. So if you were in level 1, level 2, and level 3 risk zones here, please be weather aware tomorrow. And I do want to talk about one thing here. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this is what's called the CSU learning models. I see a lot of this thrown around on social media. I talk about it here and there when it's needed, but I want you guys to see this. This is the Storm Prediction Center's outlook for Monday. This is CSU. These max probabilities, guys, are on the CSU model runs. We have got a huge moderate risk in the light purple there, according to the CSU, Colorado State University, and a huge high risk, level 5 out of 5 here on CSU. I don't think I've ever seen these probabilities on CSU issued that high. So what I'm saying is the ceiling for Monday's event is extremely high. Does not mean we're going to get a moderate or a high risk, but the ceiling is high compared to where we're at right now. So if conditions continue to increase and we see storm coverage favorable for strong to intense violent tornadoes, extremely large hail, and damaging winds, SPC will upgrade accordingly, needing to those risk zone requirements. So what I'm getting at is you need to take today seriously, you need to take Monday seriously, you need to take Sunday seriously, and we'll talk about Tuesday here in a second as as well. But Monday could be the big day across the plains here and into the Missouri Boot Hill area once again that we see significant severe weather outbreak and possibly even a very good chance at seeing a tornado outbreak both tomorrow and on Monday. Now, I will show you guys as well going into Tuesday's outlook. The Storm Prediction Center, once again, very, very confident, guys. This is the day 4 outlook here. We have another enhanced risk for severe weather and a slight risk here introduced here. Level 4 or level 3 and level 2 out of 5 here. Nashville, Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee, Jackson, going down towards Little Rock, Arkansas, getting into Alabama now, getting into central portions of Mississippi. You guys are going to be the bullseye here for extremely large hail, damaging winds, and there will be a pretty decent tornado threat as well on Tuesday. We're still waiting to get those details a little bit more confined, but outside of that, a level 2 slight risk at play as well for significant severe weather here across these same exact areas that just got hit yesterday, guys. All of Kentucky, Illinois. I mean, this looks very identical to yesterday's setup, if not a little bit more different. So we'll talk more about those details as we get closer to the event here. But I want you guys to be weather aware. I want you guys to get your preparation plans in place now. Let people know what's going on. Share the word out here. This could be a very significant stretch of severe weather over the next 4 days here. And I'm going to talk just briefly about our models here. Like I said, we'll talk more about this in the stream today, but just a brief look out here. Showers and thunderstorms firing off after 3 o'clock this afternoon today across Oklahoma. A couple of these could be producing some in tornadoes, depending on the way these cells emerge and evolve over time. Large hail damaging winds will be the primary threat with a couple of tornadoes possible and expected. Moving east here, the time frame looks to be between about 3 p.m. across the region here till about midnight tonight, and we'll see that coverage start to dwindle as the overnight hours get here. And then we go into tomorrow, and where that high ceiling event is going to be at for tomorrow, we could see a couple very, very strong storms tomorrow. If any storms can basically stay along our warm front and our dry line, we could see strong to intense storms. Right now, the models are showing a lot of hail and a lot of damaging wind tomorrow out in front of the warm front, but along the dry line, we haven't quite seen yet convection, so I do expect these models to trend in a different direction going up, going through the next couple of days. If we start to see supercells fire off on that dry line, it's going to make for a very, very long and extremely dangerous day across the plains, both Sunday and for Monday here. But right now, we don't quite yet have that signal. Like I said, still about 2 to 3 days out here, so we'll see as models change, as they progress. But definitely all modes of severe weather are going to be on the table. I cannot stress this enough to you guys as well. Yesterday, the models did not handle the tornado outbreak in the Ohio Valley very well. It showed a line of storms developing before the 6 p.m. hour was supposed to happen. We were supposed to see a line of storms on some models. Some models had supercells, some models had a line. Yesterday was just not quite handled with the models too well. And so what I'm getting at is when you guys see these model runs, what we want to pay attention to is the parameters that we have, the available energy, the available, shear in the atmosphere, all of our dew points, everything that comes together to make these severe weather setups. That's what we want to pay attention to. That's why these risk zones are issued. Every model run is going to show different scenarios and where storms could fire off at. It doesn't mean you're going to get a storm compared to what that model says. It just means you need to be aware that storm coverage in that area is going to be a pretty good chance at happening. So that's what we're kind of waiting on to see here what's going to happen both tomorrow and on Monday. We'll dive more into tomorrow and Monday as we go into the stream today and in videos tomorrow and in future videos. But what I'm getting at is the parameter spaces are just very, very high for the next 3 to 4 days here. We're going to see significant severe weather more than likely unfold here. I will show you guys briefly here the instability values going through today and tomorrow. Look at these instability values, guys. I mean, ridiculous. 3,000, 4,000, maybe even approaching 5,000 Cape tomorrow, Sunday evening here. 5,000 Cape approaching here in Oklahoma. And you guys can see the dry line that sets up here. This is going to be very, very favorable for supercell ignition. And anything that does fire off along that dry line will have the threat for a significant tornado, extremely large hail, and damaging winds. Like I said, just something we're going to have to pay attention to. Another thing, guys, these are the tornado parameters that we have both today, tomorrow, and going into Monday. Extreme tornado parameters going into Sunday here. You can see, boom, Sunday afternoon as these storms get ready to initiate, these parameters just increase as the low-level jet increases on Sunday night going into the overnight hours. So a very, very high ceiling, very, very, medium range and low floor potential on the table here, meaning we could see something in the middle, or we could see something extreme on the terms of a tornado outbreak. You need to be prepared regardless of if storms fire or not fire as expected here. Some people will see storms, some people may not see storms. So just something to be very, very mindful of, and we'll talk more about that in stream. Now, one more thing I will talk about here, just the overall pattern and what we're going to see here over the next couple of days. Our jet stream that was moving, or our troughing that was moving through and giving us the severe weather yesterday, is finally going to be moving off the coastline as we go through tomorrow here. You can see this little pulse of energy, this little dip in the jet stream here. This is what's causing today's severe weather. A little bit of a dip in the jet stream can cause mesoscale convective scale days. This is what we're seeing today, just enough to promote a tornado wind and hail threat. And then watch this, guys, big dip in the jet stream. We get a first little trough ejection that comes in to bring tomorrow's severe weather threat in on Sunday, and then we get our big one coming in on Monday here, and this is what's ultimately going to cause that severe weather setup on Monday and on Tuesday across the plains here. We could be looking at a very, very significant stretch of severe weather, both, like I said, the next 4 days here. And then by the time we get towards Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we start to see a little bit more of a different pattern change here. Still could see some severe weather across the Ohio Valley with a northwesterly flow, but it does look to be that we will see some severe weather over the next couple of days going in through next weekend, but they're not going to be anything as significant as what we're seeing now. We're going to start to see a ridge try to develop underneath of the plains again, and this is going to promote more of these, like I said, mesoscale, convective scale days where we get damaging winds, some hail, and potentially some low-end tornado threat through the end of the month. So severe weather will continue to persist through the end of the month here. I 100% am guaranteed on that at this point. And then by the time we get closer to the 28th, the 29th, things may start to change just a little bit with a significant ridge, but it does look just on the long-range models that we will start to maybe become active again as we go into June. We'll just kind of see what happens with that. That's still a little far out. So we're going to keep you guys updated on that. We will have live coverage this afternoon as storms start to initiate. We're going to probably wait till about 2-3 p.m. to go live this afternoon. If we need to get on, we'll get on sooner than that. We'll be live both on YouTube here and on TikTok. Guys, be safe, be weather aware, pay attention to your alerts, have alerts on your phones, know where weather radio is charged, and know where to go when you get tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings, please. But other than that, guys, be safe. Once again, prayers and thoughts to people impacted with yesterday's storms and in the future storms here. We're going to do our best, and our weather team's going to do our best to keep you guys updated and keep you guys safe. And other than that, we'll see you guys in the next one. Be safe, y'all.